Okay, so sorry about the flash, I can't take it off, but these are my fabrics for REY's hero outfit. This is kind of, get off of my fabric. This is kind of like an SA weave. I think it's called a diamond weave on it, but this is a whole blanket that I don't need. And why is there thread on everything? Oh my god. I don't really need all of it, I only need about half a meter for myself. So I think I'm selling the rest of it, but it's pretty much like exactly the same as the fabric that was used. And this is, what was this called? I think this is called a viscose cotton gauze, maybe? But it's in a perfect grey shade. You can't tell because of the flash on the camera. Okay, so I have my first bit of the sash overlocked here. Looks very lovely. Please remember that if you've got a kind of texture on your fabric, is to keep it going the same way. I've made the mistakes. Why do I have bits on all of my fabric? Oh my god. I've made the mistake before of having the grain go in different directions or having prints that don't match up. So please remember that, especially with this kind of fabric, because it'll look funny if you don't. One sash done. What I'm going to do now is sew a gathering stitch across here, and hopefully it'll gather and pleat quite nicely. Okay, so I'm about to run this under my machine. I've got my setting on 10, if that'll focus. Zip. You want a really wide stitch. Okay, so lighting is quite bad, but this is it kind of assembled. I have a few pins here because some of it didn't gather for some reason. Focus. There you go. But yeah, I really like how the tunic is turning out. I need to hem these edges here because it's currently overlocked. And I have to twine to the belt too. I'm going to do that. Yeah, so far so good. I'm remaking my belt because the one that I used for the Force Awakens REY is old and not as accurate as I'd like it to be, so this is the shape I've got so far. I came up with it by myself, and then I found that there were patterns on the RPF and things like that, but I wanted mine to be a lot smaller because I have a very small waist. This is one layer. I'm going to have a second layer to back it as well because it's obviously not strong enough. So that's my belt. I also picked up this twine that would wrap around her belt, like in the movie. This was literally just £1 from Asda. I think it's like some sort of craft thing, but it's pretty perfect. Like, it's really accurate. So I'm really glad I found that. I'm going to be painting it a darker colour because I think it's a bit too light at the moment. It stands out on the costume too much, considering the whole costume is greys and browns. Also, I'm not sure how I'm going to close this belt because the accurate one has like D-rings, but I don't know yet. I kind of prefer to use like hook and eyes on belts, but I don't know. I'll see. I don't know whether I showed you guys this already, but this is my arm wrap. One of them. I have 2 rolls of this. But this is the screen accurate arm wraps that they use in the movie, and it's from Boots, which is a pharmacy in the UK. I'm not sure if they have it anywhere else, but that's where it's from. And it is just, honestly, just like a medical bandage. But everybody asked me on Instagram where I'd gotten it from, and it's from Boots in the UK. You can probably get it elsewhere, but that's all I know. Okay, so a lot of progress made on my tunic. I got around to hemming these edges here. They look much nicer. I still need to hem these and the armholes too. Down here. And these edges. Can you see that on camera? Yeah. Also, bit of an issue with the back fit, which I was expecting anyway. I don't have a lot of references for the pattern, but I know you can't quite see it, but there's a curve at the back. And I think I'm also going to add a seam up here to kind of take the bulk away from the sides to give me a nice fit. And I'm also adding a slit down here, because I think she has a slit here too. I rewatched some scenes of the film, and I think she has a slit at the back like she does on the sides here, and obviously the open front. But to close it here, which I don't think I've talked about, but I'm going to be adding a little hook and eyes, or maybe a snap. I'm not quite sure yet, just on the inside, obviously not the outside like here. Just there to hold it in place. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. The fit is really nice, it's how I want it to be. So far so good. So I think I showed you, but this is what my patterns looked like. I used a kind of fitted t-shirt to get the method. I always make my own patterns. But this is the back top. And this is the rounded top bottom part. And there is obviously more length to it, but I use my pattern for the front here to measure it. The front area here I did alter on my actual piece. My patterns are always trial and error, so I'm not much help for tutorials and things like that. If it was something easier like a skirt or a top, I would explain all of my measurements and things, but I can't for this, I'm afraid. Okay, a little update since last time. I finished the wraps and the tunic completely, and now I'm working on the kind of sash belt thing that she has going on. This is the same fabric as the wrap, and it's the same colour. I do believe hers is a darker grey, which I will dye this at some point when I get my hands on some darker grey dye. But what I'm doing here is I took a strip of the fabric and kind of just pleated it a little bit, ironed it in place, hemmed down the edges, and I'm going to be kind of turning it over and using some snaps to close it, but obviously on the neater side here. Alright, it has been a hot minute since I updated you about my Lost Jedi Rey. It's actually now June, and I didn't plan for this process to go on for so long, considering I started this in January. But I took a break from it whilst I did other stuff. I kind of have finished it, but I'm just now making small upgrades and finishing touches. But I have dyed her sort of sash belt a blue colour because I originally thought it was grey, but now Rebel Legion says that it's blue, and it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the colour. I used REY dye instead of a normal dye because it gives better colour payoff. I think it looks really good. I'm also going to be stitching this down to the tunic. I am quite skeptical about doing this because I might want to remake this one day or redo these, but I guess I can just unpick the stitches. But obviously Rey's is, well, Daisy's is sewn on because this never slips off when in real life it does. So I'm going to be doing that. I have bought a belt and a holster for her because I just cannot make my own. I have tried and tried and I just suck at working with it. So I have bought it. I have boots, I have wig, and I have my pants. So she's kind of finished. So hopefully the next time you see me will be after the belt will be me wearing it. Yay!